Let the fucking clown show begin. Another day, another dollar, another fucking clown show in British boxing. Good afternoon, good morning, good evening, wherever you are. Could be a quiet night tonight. Only 26 people here to start off, but it is what it is. Please feel free to hit the like button if you like what we're doing here, free of charge. And if you'd like to be part of the chat today, please feel free to hit the subscribe button. Oh, let me just adjust the Frank Warren microphone. 1 second. Right, you guys will actually like this episode today. Oh my gosh. Right, Manuel Charr absolutely showing no mercy. Manuel Charr going in raw, absolutely raw on on everything related to Matchroom. So what have we got? This should be a quick show today, actually, because it's been the usual clowns going back and forth in British boxing today, but we'll do a quick one, maybe half an hour or so. So we got Manuel Charr ripping into Eddie Hearn, Anthony Joshua, and Tony Bellew. We got that one there. We've got John Fury. Fucking hell, Jesus Christ! Only same old clowns, innit? Different day, same old clowns. Got a big John Fury coming in. He's piping up with his fucking 2 cents over why the fight didn't happen. I haven't heard anything from Frank Warren, but we've got George Warren, CEO, and really the mastermind behind Queensberry Promotions. For those people who really know about Queensberry, they know that really Queensberry really is sort of being masterminded by George Warren. Incredibly smart guy. He's the brains behind the operation and a lot of the moves that have been going on recently in Queensberry. He's on fucking TalkSport talking to Simon Jordan, talking about why the fight didn't happen. And then we've got this muppet here. We've got 5-0 former amateur boxer from Bellew Boxing Club, by way of no footage whatsoever. By way of no footage, no photographs. You know what? Not only is there no footage of Eddie Hearn ever having an amateur boxing career, but even though his dad was a fucking millionaire, his dad never thought to take any fucking pictures of him. You ever wondered how funny that is? Barry Hearn was one of the richest men in fucking Britain. Barry Hearn, one of the richest men in Britain, but Barry Hearn went to all 5 of his son's amateur fights and just forgot to take a fucking, not even a Polaroid. Not even a fucking Polaroid. For those of you who are like, who are my age, who are my age and older, you remember like portable cameras have been around since the fucking 70s. Barry Hearn was a multi-millionaire. Barry Hearn couldn't carry a fucking Polaroid into Bellew Boxing Club and capture his own son in the middle of punching somebody else up while wearing the Bellew Amateur Boxing Club vest. Funny about that, isn't it? Anyway, so we got Eddie Hearn with the latest. And Eddie Hearn's already getting flack. Tell you why Eddie Hearn's getting flack. Look at his comment section quickly. Eddie Hearn's getting flack. He's now coming on TalkSport. Eddie Hearn reveals all. Eddie Hearn tells TalkSport the latest from Tyson Fury AJ negotiations, yeah? So he's on here spitting his whole spiel, basically laying it all on the door of Fury, yeah? Saying, oh, it's, Fury setting all these deadlines and, Fury set these deadlines. So if Fury says the fight's off, then the fight must be off. Obviously, it's the same Eddie Hearn who said, don't believe a fucking word Tyson Fury says. Until Tyson Fury tells him the fight of AJ's off, then all of a sudden Eddie Hearn believes everything he says. But anyway, we discussed that yesterday already. So we had that, yeah. But look, Look who's doing the interview. Look at this here. Look. George Warren, when he came on to TalkSport, did the interview with Simon Jordan and Jim White. Now, Simon Jordan is probably known as the number one sort of interviewer. The number one guy on TalkSport at the moment is Simon Jordan. Former owner of Crystal Palace, former owner of Phones for You, used to be one of the richest men in Britain, probably one of the richest men in the world at one point. Simon Jordan. He was once worth something in the region of 200 or 300 million. So one of the biggest men in business at the time, Simon Jordan. Very, very astute interviewer. And people are saying that Eddie Hearn's ducked him, because if you look at who's conducting this little interview with Eddie Hearn, you've got Laura Woods, who is of course employed by DAZN. And you've got Stuart Pearce, psycho, who, doesn't know, what a pair of boxing gloves are. Do you know what I mean? So you can see here how Eddie Hearn sets it up there. Look. He's gone in to have a discussion there about why the AJ versus Fury negotiations have fallen apart. Well, he's been asked questions by a fucking DAZN employee who's also employed by TalkSport and Stuart fucking Pearce. Last seen. When was the last time we saw Stuart Pearce in front of a camera? Probably the last time we saw Stuart Pearce in front of a camera is when he did that fucking Pizza Hut advert, didn't he? Remember when Stuart Pearce did that Pizza Hut advert back in the fucking 90s? Remember this one? Waddle, Southgate and Pearce back in the 90s. Because they all of them missed penalties for England in World and Euro Cup. Last time I saw Stuart Pearce in front of a camera anytime soon, all of a sudden he finds his way on TalkSport. He's asking Eddie Hearn fucking questions about why negotiations between Fury and fucking and AJ broke down. So as you can see here, another complete softball there from Eddie. He couldn't get a clean up man, Cougs. Where was the clean up man, Cougs? The clean-up man, that's what we call Kugan Cassius, the clean-up man. He couldn't get the clean-up man to come in, and clean things up for him, but obviously you got the best next thing. You got the lovely Laura Woods. All right, 52 here in the chat. Please feel free to hit the like button if you would like to. 53 in the chat, only 20 likes. Just, there's just no excuse. No excuse really for 53 people and 20 likes. It is what it is. Right, shall we get started? Yeah, Joe Wall says Charles got in on Hearn, Joshua and Bellew with no Vaseline. He's got in Ice Cube style, isn't he? All right, should we fucking hear this shit then? I mean, there's not that many people here yet, so I might have to replay it later on. But if you just give me a sec, we'll get this party started. Let's hear the latest from Mahmoud Charr. This guy, in my opinion, right now is the face of boxing. I don't care what anybody says, man. Right now, people saying, who's the face of boxing? Yeah, it's Manuel Charr. Manuel Charr is the face of boxing right now. He's the funniest guy in boxing. He got the best tan in boxing. And when have you ever seen a Caucasian man with a better tan than Manuel Charr or Mahmoud Charr? Well, technically, he's not Caucasian, but when have you ever seen a man with a tan like this? Manuel Charr. Where did he get that tan from? A tan in bed? No, I'm joking. He's browner than me, and I came out of the womb light skinned. He's browner than I am. What the fuck's going? Anyway, let's have a listen here. Press 1 if you can hear the sound.
Eddie Hearn, don't stick your nose where it doesn't belong. Go out from our business. You get the chance from you pussy war to fight the king, Gypsy King. You have to over 20 days. You're not signed. Now you want to tell Frank Warren or Tyson Fury who have to fight, and if not enough, you bring now your dogs like Tony, what's his name? Tony Bellew. Who is this? I don't know him. Listen, guy, go out from the business. You are nothing. You have no world champion more. Joshua is broken mentality. After I beat Fury, I will take care about pussy war. I promise. You are nothing, Eddie Hearn. You are a small bitch, Eddie Hearn.
Oh my gosh! Have the WBA made this man the full WBA champion? I don't care what's going on with Usyk right now. They need to strip Usyk ASAP and make Charr the champion. This is how champions talk. This is what boxing needs. Manuel Charr, yeah? AKA the saviour of boxing. Pussy what? I haven't heard this one yet, you know. He called it AJ Anthony Pussy what? Pussy what? Hey. Manuel Charr is real. Look, Gary Harrison saying Manuel Charr's a real one. Right, hey. You know what? All of a sudden for me, yeah, people are asking, Fury versus Charr, is it pay-per-view? Well, on the basis of Manuel Charr getting in a taxi and calling Anthony Joshua Anthony Pussywat. On the basis of that, I would say yes. Yes, I would say yes. Manuel Charr and Tyson Fury is pay-per-view. Let's just hear this again. Definitely a fucking rewind for this.
Don't stick your nose where it doesn't belong. Go out from our business. You get the chance from you pussywat to fight the king, Gypsy King. You have to over 20 days. You're not signed. Now you want to tell Frank Warren or Tyson Fury who have to fight, and if not enough, you bring now your dogs like Tony. What's his name?
He called him Tonio. Did you hear that? He called him Tonio. He called him Tonio Bellew. It's like Tony Bellew's got some kind of fucking Maltese cousin, isn't he? Tony Bellew's got a Maltese cousin called Tonio. Tonio Bellew. Do you know what? If I was any good at paint shop, I would have put the Mario moustache on a photo of Tony Bellew and called it Tonio Bellew. Hey, see, it's not even worse. You get your dogs. You get your dogs, Tony Bellew.
Have to fight, and if not enough, you bring now your dogs like Tony. What's his name? Tony Bellew. Who is this? I don't know him.
Well, Manuel, if you don't know who Tony Bellew is, let me please tell you. For those of you who aren't too familiar with Tony Bellew, let me just quickly tell you who Tony Bellew is. Tony Bellew is, of course, the inventor, director, and salesman extraordinaire of one of the most extraordinary training programs ever to hit the UK market. As you can see here now, you can see this says special introductory. This special introductory offer to Tony Bellew's 12-week training plan has been going on for how long? I think we've been visiting this page on and off for probably about 3 years now. And this page is still up. Let's see if they still got the special offer. We've still got Tony's orders. You've got a personal note from Tony here. Look at this. I see every year these celebrities selling weight loss pills and shakes or endorsing some kind of magic piece of equipment to get chiseled. I can't help but roll my eyes. I'm not joking. I'm going to zoom in. There you go. Tony Bellew saying this shit. Look, it's a personal note from Tony. So, look, there you go. Tony's guide includes a 12-week training guide. And you get video library access. What kind of video library access do you get to Tony Bellew? What videos are you getting? What videos has Tony Bellew recently been releasing on his OnlyFans? Should we have a quick check, just out of interest? I'm only asking because Manuel Charr doesn't know who Tony Bellew is. So I'm just trying to... I know Manuel's a big fan of this show, innit? So I'm just trying to get a... Hold on a minute. Is his OnlyFans still going? Because I can't find the link. I know one of you subscribes to that shit. Anybody who subscribes to OnlyFans, can somebody give me a look and see if Bellew's still around? Because nobody can see Bellew no more. Look, here's the proof. Look, it's on the Daily Star. Look, Tony Bellew announces he's joined Instagram with promise to show unseen videos. Oh, Jesus Christ. Tony Bellew wants to join OnlyFans and show us all these unseen videos. It's enough to make a grown man want to puke. Anyway, let's get back to Manuel Charr. Sorry about that. I got sidetracked. All right, let's get back to Manuel Charr. So he was asking, who the fuck is Tony Bellew? And he was talking about pussywat and whatnot. Hold on, let's get back to this stuff. Hold on a minute. Sorry, you know I've got ADHD and all that. Here we go.
Listen, guy, go out from the business. You are nothing. You have no world champion now. Joshua is broken mentality. After I beat Fury, I will take care about pussywat.
There you go. There you go. Manuel Charr. He says he's going to take care of pussywat after he's taken care of Fury. So there, Charr just absolutely laying in. Chris S is saying Manuel Charr for president. Listen, that should be his name, the president. So when he comes to doing against Tyson Fury, yeah, we need to make sure who's going to be announcing him. Is it either going to be, who's it going to be? Thomas Tiber or whatever his name is. I'm going to get in touch with him, yeah, at Thomas Tiber at QueensburyPromotions.com. And I'm going to make sure when Manuel Charr comes to the ring on pay-per-view versus Tyson Fury, make sure you announce him properly. Manuel the President or Mahmoud the President Charr. It is what it is. Right. That's one clown out the way. I think, listen, this is what boxing needs. Boxing needs characters, and there ain't no bigger characters in a minute than Manuel Charr. Absolutely laying into to AJ there. Now, it wouldn't be an episode if we didn't do the. Gosh, here we go. It wouldn't be an episode if we didn't hear the blow by blow from this one, innit? From this next clown, innit? From one clown to another clown.
Eddie Hearn. I'm going to put this to bed finally with the Eddie Hearn and the AJ situation and my son. You know, yes, Eddie, you've stopped the biggest fight in British history happening through no fault of our own. You know, you was offered everything 60-40. You know, and like I say, some people just think they're cleverer than what they really are, you know. I'm not trying to be a clever man in any way, shape or form, because I know I'm not that clever, no education. But it's not me what's put the block on what the fans wanted. The biggest fight Britain have seen between Anthony Joshua and my son. We're not to blame, Eddie. You did all of this on your own doing, mate. But listen, what can you say? We won't mention it no more. This is it, the final video about the Hearns and the Joshuas. We'll not be concerned ourselves with this anymore because it's out the window now. It's a fight that never happened. Yep. And who prevented it? Eddie Hearn. Enough said, eh?
Well, hold on a minute. Few of you are saying John Fury. Games you love saying John Fury talking sense. I want you guys to press 1 in the chat, yeah? If you really believe John Fury when he says this is going to be the last time he talks about Eddie Hearn and he talks about Pussywah. He says it's the last time. Do you really believe that? If you believe John Fury, if you believe that this is history in the making and that this is the last time that John Fury is going to talk about AJ, Eddie Hearn, and the whole Fury fight, press 1. If you don't believe anything that John Fury has to say, please press 2. Look, do you really believe this shit?
But listen, what can you say? We won't mention it no more. This is it, the final video about the Hearns and the Joshuas.
Ah, you fucking liar! Hear him! He's a fucking liar! That's it. That's it. You won't hear no more. That's it. You won't hear no more. That's the final video about the Hearns and the Joshuas. Yeah. You can see where Tyson Fury gets his deadlines from. You probably get another video from John Fury in about 5 minutes. But like Tyson Fury, it's the last deadline. That's it. I told Frank, it's off. It's off. And then they're still negotiating behind the scenes for another fucking week. And then he sets another deadline, isn't it? What a load of BS.
This is it, the final video about the Hearns and the Joshuas. We'll not be concerned ourselves with this anymore because it's out the window now. It's a fight that never happened. Yep. And who prevented it? Eddie Hearn.
There you go. So that's Big John Fury. Yeah, Joe Wall says that's the last time for today. Exactly, yeah. That's the last video you'll be hearing from John Fury on AJ and Eddie Hearn. Until 9 p.m. tonight. Until 12 a.m. this morning. It is what it is. It is what it is. Alright, let's carry on. Alright. Who's the next bunch of clowns we've got? We've got to make this quick, you know. Especially because we've only got 62 people in it. It's a very quiet night tonight. So, was it 65? Well, it is what it is. Well, it's quite quiet tonight. So we'll get a few. I don't think there's anything much to talk about, really. I mean, talk about Wank in a minute as well. And what's he about? Wank's threatening people again. He's talking about public executions. Let's have a quick listen to this. Hold on. Should we have a quick listen to this? I'm not sure if we should, but it's Eddie Hearn giving his excuses. In fact, I tell you what. To avoid a copyright from TalkSport, what I will quickly do is I'll quickly go through some of these comments just to see, as it stands at the minute, right? I've been checking how the PR wars are going on. Who do the public believe right now? Who do the public believe is at fault, right? And it seems to me like, you know, Eddie Hearn is still public enemy number 1, whether you like that or don't like that. Let's go through some of the latest comments. It's not letting up for Eddie Hearn, is it? It's never Eddie's fault. He's always the victim, don't you know? This is insane. Eddie says we presume it's off. How in the world is he not picked up the phone to clarify the position with George or Frank Warren? The fact that Eddie said 4 weeks ago they gave us an offer, we tried to negotiate the offer, but they said take it or leave it, so we took it, and he's still saying there's stuff to iron out, shows he's the one who's lying. This is interesting. Eddie is shitting it from Simon Jordan again. Only comes on when it's someone whose wages he pays, like Laura Woodsy or Ade. Oh no, even Ade's getting caught in the crossfire there. Fucking hell, it's not Ade's fault, is it? Fucking hell. It's Hearn who doesn't want the fight. One thing that's become clear is that Eddie won't be putting Joshua in with Fury, Wilder, or even Joyce anytime soon. Absolutely disgraceful that he chooses to come on TalkSport with his employee Laura, ducking Simon Jordan just like they were ducking Fury. So yeah, people would continue to not be happy with Eddie Hearn's comments. Basically, they're not happy that he's come on Talk Sport and that he's getting interviewed by Stuart Pearson and DAZN employee Laura Woods. They wanted to see a more impartial interview from someone like a Simon Jordan, who would really sort of press him and ask the questions that we want to know, basically. And Simon, obviously, being a businessman, unlike Eddie Hearn, Simon Jordan was a self-made businessman. So Simon Jordan made his money from scratch, right? He made his money at the beginning of the mobile phone boom, right? As opposed to Eddie Hearn, who is a bit like Scrooge McDuck, who sort of, fell out of the maternity ward into a sort of a bath of gold coins type deal. It is what it is. Look, funny how Simon isn't there to ask the tough questions. It is what it is. Yeah, Games You Love says the comments have turned on Eddie. At the moment, they have turned on Eddie, but if anybody can turn around public perception, it's Eddie Hearn. And some breaking news in the last half an hour from Eddie Hearn on such an interview is the following. Anthony Joshua's next fight is now being eyed to potentially take place on December the 17th at Wembley Arena, Eddie Hearn has stated. Guys in the chat, who do you think Anthony Joshua's opponent will be Wembley Arena at December the 17th? You got any names? December the 17th, who will be Anthony Joshua's opponent? Now, Wembley Arena. Oh, Wembley Arena. Sorry, that's not Wembley Stadium. Right, so Wembley Arena. So what is that then? What the SC? What do they call it now? The SES or whatever they call it. What do they call it? At Wembley Arena, what do they call it? The fucking I forgot what they call it. The SSS or whatever they call it. So, oh, of course, yes. The headliner is Chris Ariola. I got sent this morning on Instagram, on Twitter. And I forgot to tell you guys, is that all public knowledge now, yeah? Somebody got in contact with me on Twitter and said the favourite to fight Anthony Joshua is Chris Ariola. If you were already aware of that, and that's not big news, then press 1. But if you didn't know that, press 2. Sorry about that, yeah. I assumed you guys all knew. Let me just see. So Chris Ariola, apparently he's being lined up, yeah, to be Anthony Joshua's next opponent for December the 17th. You didn't know, right? A few of you didn't know. Yeah, Toby Players didn't know. Yeah, okay. Shadow Project didn't know. Yeah, SSC. Yeah, right. Yoking. Right. So yeah, I assumed everybody knew. Somebody hit me up this morning on Twitter and said, yeah, it's going to be Chris Ariola is the current favourite to be. It's not somebody in boxing, to be fair. It's somebody who watches the show. But I'm just saying, I got a message this morning. If I get a message from somebody in boxing, I normally let you guys know about it. Normally, if people message me from inside the sport, it's just to slag off Ben Shalom. Really. I don't even get that much bad information about Matchroom, to be honest. Normally, every time I get shit in my inbox from people who work in boxing, it's normally telling me some fucking crazy shit that's going on at Sky with Ben Shalom and Adam Smith, a.k.a. Pinky in the Brain. But yeah, somebody hit me up this morning and saying it's going to be Chris Ariola is the favourite to be Anthony Joshua's next opponent. Now, I don't shoot the messenger. I'm just saying, all right? Somebody who listens to this show told me it's going to be Chris Ariola. But we'll have to wait and see. A few of you, who are you saying? What do you guys think about that? What do you guys think about Chris Ariola as a potential opponent for Anthony Joshua? We all know Chris Ariola can punch, but it is what it is. He's been around for quite a while now. Grimes says, Ariola, Jesus, scraping the barrel. Well, I tell you what, though. Let's be honest, right? Let's be honest, to be fair. Who do you think's... Which fighter do you think is worse? All right? I'll do a poll. I'll tell you what. In fact, no, fuck a poll. Let's do it now. Fuck a poll. All right? Guys in the chat, type in. Which fight do you think is worse? Fury versus Charr or AJ versus Chris Ariola? And I don't care who you go for. I'm just drumming up conversation and all that. Given that it's fucking, 9 o'clock here, down here on a Tuesday afternoon. I've just had a Domino's 2 for Tuesday. I've come on my fucking PC, checked my messages, and guess what? British boxing is still a fucking joke. What do you think's the worst fight? Fury versus Charr or AJ versus Chris Ariola? Those are the front runners for both of the guys. Somebody also said to me as well, oh, that was on last night's show. The Keggy came on last night's show. He's saying Charles going to the Bois. But I'll wait and see on that. But he's saying Char's gonna get handed over to Dubois, not Fury. I'm hoping so. I think Charr versus Dubois is, semi-passable for Queensberry standards. But let's see. Yeah, most of you guys are saying Fury versus Charr. Fury versus Charr. Grimes saying AJ Ariola's a stinker. Snoop Bob says both a waste of time. Charr got iced by Breedis, so Charr is worse. Fury and Charr's worse. Chris says AJ Ariola. Yo King saying Fury and Charr. George C saying Fury versus Charr, the bigger mismatch of the two. So you guys just think, Fury versus Charr is something that just has no place on British TV. I mean, selling that shit on pay-per-view. Listen, we're going to need a lot more promos from Manuel Charr. We're going to need a lot more of this from Manuel Charr in order to make that fight pay-per-view. But listen, if he keeps delivering, I'm going to keep doing it. It is what it is. Yeah, so that's the front runner, Chris Ariola, I was told. We'll have to wait and see. Let's have a look at the comments here. So it's not Wembley Stadium, yeah? That's not Wembley Stadium. So that's the Wembley Arena, the SSE, as somebody correctly pointed out. I'm just going through here on some other stuff. Deontay Wilder's talking about Anthony Joshua. Just, not really too interested in what Deontay Wilder's got to say at the minute until he stops handing out accusations about people spiking his drink that are completely unfounded and without any evidence whatsoever. Crazy D3 says, why not Big Bang Zhang? Well, we all assumed it was Zhang, didn't we? But like I said, somebody seems to think it's going to be Chris Ariola. We'll have to wait and see. Tony Issue says, Joshua's next few fights with DAZN will be like Eubank Senior's world tour with Sky in the... I've heard a few people saying this, actually, because they know what Barry Hearn's like, don't they? They know how Barry Hearn likes to operate. They know how Barry Hearn likes to operate. And so, yeah, they think that's what it could be. I mean, look, one thing I will say about this, right, about this whole situation before maybe we should move on and talk a little bit about Eubank and stuff. But one thing I will say is this, right? I don't know why Anthony Joshua, maybe, but if Anthony Joshua just waited until after the Usyk fight to sign that DAZN deal, I just wonder if things could have been very different. If you think that's a fair point, press 7. If you think I'm full of shit, press 8. But what do you think? Just... If AJ had just waited until the end of that Usyk fight to finalise something, to finalise that DAZN deal, that could have been interesting, couldn't it? If he'd just waited a little bit. I mean, listen, like I said before, if someone offers you the mega deal they offered you, which is millions of pounds and, fucking stake in the company and whatnot, maybe you just snap their hand off. But it would have been interesting, wouldn't it? Just to see if he just waited, because I reckon if he lost, did he really think that Fury was going to offer him an olive branch? He might not have known. And had he have known, then he'd not been tied up with the broadcaster, and that would have been one less obstacle. Maybe that fight well and truly could have happened, Maybe because he definitely wants to fight, in my opinion. Anthony Joshua definitely wants to fight. For my opinion, Anthony Joshua's never seen that contract. I could be wrong. I don't think he's ever seen the contract. Like he said, it's with some lawyers. It was with some lawyers at Matchroom, and they made sure he didn't see it because they don't want him to. I don't think that's the path that they want him to take. I think someone's taken a decision. Look, we can't afford to get this guy beaten 3 times in a fucking row. So it is what it is, which is probably the sensible decision. Games You Love is saying, why would he wait? Why would he late? He would get a white deal from DAZN after the loss. Yeah, okay. What if he signed after the loss? He would have got a worse deal. Yeah, I can definitely see that thought. Yeah, I mean, like I said before, maybe just the deal was so good he had to snap their hand off. But I'm just thinking, even had known at the time that maybe they would have been a Fury fight at the end, even if he lost. I wonder how much easier the fight would have been to make if they could have minimised Hearn's involvement in it by not having some kind of agreement with DAZN. It is what it is. Right, let's go through some of this other British boxing news, and then I think we'll call it a day. 80 in the chat right now. Please hit the like button right now. We're doing the skeleton shift right now. There's not too many people here, but listen, I really like. Even to get more than 2 people watching, honestly, I really, really appreciate it right now. Okay, so press 1 if you agree with Chris Eubank Jr. Chris Eubank Jr. says his fight with Conor Benn, up and coming this Saturday, he says this fight is a public execution, and he has called it a mismatch. Would you agree with that? See, the thing with Chris Eubank Jr. is, right, he's like his father, didn't they? They don't mind a mind game or two, do they? Like Eubank and his father. 1 minute, right? I can't work it out. His father doesn't want the fight to happen because it's such a dangerous fight, right? So his father doesn't want the fight to happen because it's such a dangerous fight. Then you've got Eubank wearing t-shirts with 60% on it, saying I'm only going to be 60% on fight night, and how I'm going to be drained, I'm going to be smashed to pieces, but it is what it is. I'm going to give it a go. And then now, 2 seconds later, he's coming out and saying something completely fucking different. Hey, it is what it is. I do think he likes a mind game. A few of you are agreeing with Eubank. You think it's going to be... a few of you thinking this is going to be an execution. But Chris Eubank Jr. on Fight Week is now turning it on. He's completely changed his tune now. He's no longer talking about how, you know, he's the underdog and, you know, how weight trendy he is. He's just saying, look, there's only one thing that's going to happen here. And it is what it is. The kid's back says Eubank likes to play around, never gets the job done straight away. I agree. He likes to mess around a lot in the ring, isn't he? He's got a reputation as a good finisher, but he does like to fuck around a lot in the ring. Look, shout out to that hair transplant. Can you see? Look. Can you guys see? Look, Chris Eubank Jr.'s scalp there. Look. Why does the top of his scalp have a different shade to the side of his scalp? That's the real public execution. The real mismatch that's going on here is the top of Chris Eubank's head with the side of his head. Looks to me like he's had a hair transplant. What do you guys think about that? Press 7 if you agree. Press 8 if you disagree. Chris Eubank out here talking about mismatches. There's a bit of a mismatch there in the colour between the top of his head. The top of his head's fucking... The top of his head's sort of black and blue. And the side of his head's fucking... What is that? What's going on there? Oh, Crazy New Free saying, nah, it's a scalp tattoo. What's a scalp? I don't even know what that is. What, you're saying he's got hair tattooed onto him? Nah, he's just... That's the beginnings of a hair transplant, isn't it? But anyway, you can see there's a mismatch there. Look. What's going on the top of his head doesn't match what's going on the side of his head. So it is what it is. And in that beard fake as well. He got a fake beard as well. So yeah. Yeah, Richard's saying, looks like it's been coloured in with a pencil. Yeah. So it is what it is. Chris Eubank looking like... I don't even know what a hair tattoo is, but yeah. All I know is that Chris Eubank Jr. is coming on here and he's looking like a fucking character out of the Beano. No disrespect, innit? Chris Eubank Jr. coming on IFL TV talking about mismatches. The fucking top of his head don't even match the side of his head. Coming out here looking like a fucking Beano character. Let me show you. Chris Eubank. Who remembers the Beano? Who remembers the Beano? Oh my gosh. I used to read this shit all the time. Who remembers the Beano? Get his up here. Oh, sorry about that. There we go. Who remembers the Beano? Chris Eubank Jr. looking like a cartoon character at the Beano. With his head outlined like that. Can you see all the fucking outlines, the pen outlines around these drawings? Like Chris Eubank Jr., someone's drawn an outline around his head. Someone's been drawing an outline around this man's head. Anyway, here's what it is. Yeah. Here's what it is. Alright, let's have a look at the comments. It's a public execution. Let's quickly see these comments. Blah, 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 blah. This guy is the ultimate troll. His very presence, expressions, spitting image of his father, at least vocally, and his mannerisms. The way he smirks and smiles. Responds like a chess player with charm and self-belief. Winding up his opponent, not intentionally, but unintentionally. I don't know about that comment there. What do you guys think about that comment? This comment here. It's a bit sickening, is it? A bit sickly, isn't it? Like, I don't know, like, what do you think? This guy is the ultimate troll. His very presence, expressions, spitting image of his father, at least vocally, and his mannerisms. The way he smirks and smiles. He responds like a chess player with charm and self-belief, winding up his opponent, not intentionally, but unintentionally. He says what he believes. Gotta love him. Who the fuck wrote that? Did Emily Eubank write that? Looks like Emily Eubank's fucking burner account to me. What do you guys think about that? That's a bit of a strange post to put up on social media there. That looks like one of Team Eubank to me. What do you guys think? Let me know. What do you guys think about that? And speaking of guys who have the same mannerisms and look just like Chris Eubank, right? What about this guy, Nathaniel Wilson? Hey, who looks more like Chris then? Who looks more like Chris? Since we're on the topic of fucking mannerisms, isn't it? Topic of mannerisms. The way he smirks and smiles, spitting image of his father, at least vocally. And his mannerisms. Well, fucking hell. What about Nathaniel Wilson? Who looks more like Eubank? Press 1 if you think Nathaniel Wilson looks more like Chris Eubank. Or press 2 if you think Chris Eubank Jr. looks more like you. Who looks more like Chris Eubank? Chris Jr. or Nathaniel Wilson? Look at this here, look! You want to talk about fucking mannerisms? Oh dear. You want to talk about mannerisms? Nathaniel Wilson. Jesus Christ, you don't need a DNA test for that, do you? Fuck me. You won't be seeing Chris Eubank Sr. on an episode of Jeremy Kyle anytime soon, innit? Jesus Christ almighty. When Nathaniel Wilson turned up at Chris Eubank's door, what was that? When did he turn up at Chris Eubank's door? I think Nathaniel Wilson turned up at Chris Eubank's door about 10 years ago with a Box Nation camera crew behind him, didn't he? Because he got signed by Frank Warren. I don't even think Chris Eubank ever knew he had a son until Frank Warren signed him and then said, "Oh, by the way, Chris, I've signed your son." I'm not joking, lad. Did Chris Eubank Jr. even know? Did Chris Eubank Sr. even know he had a son before Frank Warren signed him? Frank Warren signed him straight away, innit, on Box Nation. Said, "By the way, you know you got a son." You know what I mean? Next minute, Nathaniel Wilson was knocking on Chris Eubank's door. Listen, when Chris Eubank Sr. opened that door and saw Nathaniel Wilson, you just knew. Forget a DNA test. Chris Eubank just must open the door and say, "Yeah, I'm guilty as charged. Guilty as charged." He knew. He sees this guy at the door. He's like, "Yeah, guilty as charged. I'm not fighting this one. Call the lawyers off. I'm not fighting this one." Do you know what I mean? Jesus Christ almighty. Here's what it is. The kid's back says, yeah, Bricktop signed him on purpose. Yeah, what? Did he say Eubank? Did Eubank deny it? Eubank Sr. was mad denying it at first. No, he never denied it. He can't deny that. Are you crazy? Listen, Nathaniel looks so much like him. Do you know what I mean? If he'd have stood outside Chris Eubank's door long enough, like someone would have just let him in the house. Do you know what I mean? He looks so much. You just assume he's a part of the family. If I'd have walked outside Chris Eubank's door out in Brighton, I mean, because I like to frequent Brighton occasionally. If I'd have walked past Chris Eubank's bungalow in Brighton and I'd have seen Nathaniel Wilson outside, I'd have fucking got the spare key under the mat and let him in the damn house. He looks exactly like him. How the fuck could he deny that? He looks exactly like him. I'd have let him in. And ain't even my house. Right, let's move on. It is what it is. Alright, let's do another one. Hold on. While we're here, because we've got to dish it out. So we've done Nathaniel. Alright. Let's do this one then. Excuse me. What? We've done Nathaniel and Chris. Let's do this one then. Alright, who looks more like Nigel then? Who looks more like Nigel? Harley or Connor Ben? Now, originally, I would have said it's Harley Ben, yeah? But Connor recently looks more like Nigel. But Connor's cheated because Connor is doing things like trying to grow a beard and stuff. But see, Connor's beard ain't a real beard, innit? Connor's beard ain't a real beard, innit? What did they do? They did that. What's that transplant thing they do where they take bum fluff from one part and then you put it on your chin or something? So it's a weird one, innit? Because Connor's kind of cheated, like recently. Like originally, Connor looks more like his mum, but now in the last couple of years, because Connor's had a few bits and bobs done, he looks a little bit more like Nigel. But who do you guys think? Listen, press 5 if you think Connor looks more like Nigel. See, look at this. Look, this is the original Connor Ben before we started getting all that work done. Look, he looks like his mum. Looks nothing like Nigel. Can you see? Looks like his mum. But as you look at Harley looks like a spitting image of him. Look at his eyes. Look at that, look. Harley looks more like him there. But then all of a sudden it changed. And then look, Connor started looking just like Nigel. Mad, isn't it? Madness. Look at this, look at these days. Look, Connor's closing the gap. He still looks more like his mum. So press 5 if you think Harley looks more like Nigel. Press 6 if you think Connor looks more like Nigel. Do you know what? Honestly, hand on heart, I'm still going to give it to Harley. I'm going to give it to Harley Ben. There's Harley signing with Queensbury Promotions. Look at that. He looks just like Nigel. What do you guys think? 5. Absolutely. I'm going for Harley Ben. Another one. What is it with Frank Warren signing people's illegitimate sons? It needs to stop that, you know. I need to have a word with Frank about that when I see him on tomorrow's daily stand-up. What is it with Frank Warren signing people's illegitimate sons? That's outrageous, isn't it? Before these people have even done a paternity test, Frank Warren was already fucking trying to sign them up because he wanted to do fucking Ben and Eubank before Eddie Hearn did. Do you know what I mean? Frank wanted to do Ben and Eubank too before Eddie Hearn did. So Frank just took it to the next level. Out there sending his spotters out. Have these two got any illegitimate kids? If they have, sign them to Queensbury. Sign them to Queensbury. So we can put them on Box Nation. I'm not even joking. Sign them to Queensbury so we can put them on Box Nation. There you go. There's Harley Ben of Box Nation with his mum. That is a bad picture. If you look at his mum is extremely good looking. Hold on. No disrespect. Hold on. She is extremely good looking. There you go. That's Harley Ben's mum on the left-hand side. So, Nigel doesn't play around. Let's leave it at that. So, it is what it is. Nigel's not playing around. Look, there you go. Here's another one. Listen, it is what it is. Let's see. Right. Oh, okay, you guys are going for a Connor. Daniel's going for Connor. Jokin's going for Connor. Richard's going for Connor. It is what it is. Anyway, look, there you go. Don't want to be disrespectful of Harley. I'm just saying his mum's his mum's rather good looking for her age. You can clearly see she had a prime. And it was what it was. Look at this picture of oh my gosh. Fucking hell. It is what it is. Right, let's move on. Let's move on. Here they've got the lisp going there. It is what it is. Chris Eubank Jr. on the Conor Benn fight. This is a mismatch. I think he means mismatched. This is going to be a public execution. It's incredible because respected people in the boxing industry are giving this kid a shot, saying he's going to beat me. It's incredible. It really is. Right, before we fuck off, guys, I'm going to leave it to you. Who are you picking for Eubank versus Ben this weekend? I mean, really, I should just be quick. We've got 80 people and 42 likes. So really, at this point, I should be telling you guys to fuck off and have a good evening. But we'll quickly go through this poll. Chris Eubank versus... In fact, look, we'll do the poll. We'll do the poll very quickly. We'll do the poll. Eubank or Ben? Who's going to win? Hold on. There's a rumour going around that I might be covering that show live on Saturday night on this channel. But we'll have to wait and see. But let's get this on. This is the official poll. But don't just vote on the poll. Put your name in the comment section, because when you get it wrong, we want to be able to track it back to you. Because we get too many people coming on here saying, I told you, Ultra, I told you. And then nothing happens. Right, the poll is in the chat right now. Who's going to win and how? Let's do this now. Right, Games You Love is going for Eubank stops him. He's going to stop Conor Benn. Vanguards of Manhood's going for Junior. Eubank. How's Eubank going to win? Tell me how Eubank's going to win, guys. All you guys are going Eubank. Boxing Hype don't count because he trains in the same gym as Eubank. So he's basically part of Team Eubank, so he doesn't even count. But he's saying Eubank 8th round stoppage. I've seen him in training camp. Joe Wells going for Eubank Jr. by KO. Daniel Campbell's going for Eubank or round 10. Gary Harrison going Eubank on points. Do you think we're going to see some controversial judging in this fight? Do you think Eubank's going to get a point? Mind you, I think he's a DAZN fighter now, so maybe he might. He's a DAZN fighter, isn't he? I believe Eddie Hearn's got the option on him. So if he does win, it's not the end of the line for Eddie Hearn. It just means that Chris Eubank Jr. is stuck on an app that nobody watches again for the rest of his career. It is what it is. Jasmel says Eubank in round 3. There's no way. Oh, Expert Genius is up here. I'm going with Ben. It is what it is, Expert. Well, you're welcome to come on the panel if you watch the fight live. It is what it is. Expert, if you want to come on, you have to talk a little bit more, Expert. You don't talk enough. But if you want to come on the panel on if we're around on Saturday, hopefully we can get Jason. If anybody sees Jason Walker, can you tell him he's needed on Saturday? We need Jason Walker to put a shift in for this Eubank Ben fight, yeah? But yeah, Expert, you're welcome on. Boxing Hype says I can also see Eubank being robbed. Junior by TKO 4th or 5th. Are you serious, guys? That's the second prediction we've had of Eubank ending this inside 6 rounds. I just think we'll have one more look at this card, right? I have no idea who's going to win this fight because, like I said before, I haven't really been keeping up with boxing. I've had so much other stuff going on in a minute, so I haven't really been keeping too much up with the boxing in a minute. I haven't actually been in the gym either for over a month, so I ain't doing too well. Normally, when I'm at my best in terms of watching boxing, I'm also actually fucking boxing in the gym. But I haven't been to the gym for a month or so, and I've actually lost weight as well. I'm down to 70 kilos now. Early this year, March of this year, I was 78 kilos. Now I'm down to 70. So it is what it is, isn't it? It is what it is. Right. Let's have a look at this card again, right? Quickly. I mean, the main event, first and foremost, has to catch fire because the undercard, would you agree with me that the undercard is complete shite? Would you agree with that with me here? Felix Cash and Conor Coyle, Gamoya fight and Gohan Rodriguez Garcia, Mary Romero versus Eddie Scottney. I don't know if you saw yesterday's episode, but Shannon Courtney's fighting a mother of 8 kids. So Gemma Rueg is literally a full-time mother of 8 children. They'll be taking her away from her children to put her on a DAZN pay-per-view to stick her in the ring with Shirley from EastEnders, who's having a comeback fight. Lyndon Arthur's allegedly fighting on this card. And then you've got George Ledard here. 1-0, 0 KOs, 0 losses, and 0 draws. So basically, look, this card is a disaster, yeah? So basically, you need the main event to catch fire, first and foremost. That's the first thing I will say. But, you know, this card could potentially be a night of mismatches, couldn't they? Couldn't it? With all due respect, this could be a night of mismatches. We could see a night of mismatches here. There's a few things here which you think, fucking hell, why is that getting made? Why is that getting done? Here's what it is. You know, we'll see. We're going to find out how good Matchroom's matchmaking really is, because either they've seen something in Conor Benn that the general public haven't seen yet, or they've made a big mistake. We'll have to wait and see, innit? Either they've seen something from Conor Benn in that gym, which I hear he's awesome in the Matchroom gym. I've got friends who've been there and seen him spar in person. They say he's unbelievable. That's what they tell me. They say Conor Benn in the Matchroom gym is unbelievable. They say he's fitter than all of his personal trainers. They say he's the fittest person in that gym by a mile. They say just the sparring partners can't keep up. He gets them out of there. He gets good guys out of there. Apparently, nobody in that gym can keep up with Conor Benn. That's the report I heard from Tony Sims's gym, yeah? So it is what it is. I hear nothing but good things about Conor Benn coming out of that gym. But maybe they're seeing something in the gym that we're not seeing. But this has the potential to be a pretty terrible mismatch. You know, if Eddie Hearn gets this wrong, I will say this in closing. You know, if Eddie Hearn gets this wrong and Conor Benn gets smashed to pieces, can I ask you guys a question and we'll leave it at this? Honestly, if Conor Benn gets smashed to pieces on Saturday night, which I don't think will happen, I think it's going to be competitive, potentially. If Conor Benn does get smashed to pieces in a fight against Chris Eubank Jr., do you think Eddie Hearn's reputation will take a hit? Press 1 if you think Eddie Hearn's reputation will take a hit, and press 2 if Eddie Hearn's... The reason I say that to you is the following, right? Honestly, it's not to bash Eddie Hearn, but I'm telling you for a straight up fact, right? On the boxing circuit, so I'm talking amongst people now who work in boxing. I'm not talking YouTubers who don't box, don't go to boxing gyms, don't know anybody in boxing, and don't talk to anybody in boxing. You know what I mean? I'm not talking about people who talk about pay-per-view sales and tickets. I'm talking about people who actually talk to people in boxing, yeah? Or people who have actually been in the fucking gym and put gloves on and taken a shot. Like, people who, you know what I mean, right? People in boxing, right? Okay? So, like, I talk to a couple of people every now and again who run small hall shows. You see, I've got Mickey Elliott coming on the channel. People who are actually in the fucking sport, right? There's a little bit of a stigma, a little bit, I've noticed, I could be wrong, but there's a little bit of a stigma where Eddie Hearn is seen as a guy who's not the best when it comes to managing the careers of prospects. If you think that's a fair comment, press 7. If you think that's an unfair comment, press 8. But it's just a little perception that I've noticed. Even amongst certain fighters, I've heard fighters like Sonny Edwards making comments about Eddie Hearn in the past. I think someone said to Sonny Edwards like about a year or so ago. I think someone said to Sonny Edwards, you know, why didn't you sign with Eddie Hearn? And I think Sonny Edwards turned around and said, look, if I'd have signed with Eddie Hearn, he would have chucked me in with, you know, X, Y, and Z in my second fight. Basically, Sonny Edwards basically, I think, said that Eddie Hearn would have, you know, put him in over his head straight away. And I think that was quite telling when Sonny Edwards said that, because, like I said, it's perception I don't think it's just held by, you know, me. I think it's held by a couple of people in boxing and even some of the fighters, you know. And I think that Frank Warren has a reputation as someone who's quite good at guiding younger fighters. I think Eddie Hearn's probably the bigger promoter. Eddie Hearn's probably seen as the better promoter. Eddie Hearn's probably seen as the more razzmatazz, the guy who works with the stars more, right? But I think he's got a bit of a stigma against him where I think sometimes people are quite reluctant to put young guys with Eddie Hearn because of what he does. And if you saw what happened to us with the guys on Sky Next Gen, I mean, all those guys to a man, other than Buatsi and Okole, I think were the only survivors, weren't they? Buatsi and Okole were pretty much the only survivors from Sky Next Gen. Everybody else got beaten up, wiped out. I think Felix Cash hasn't really stepped up and fought anybody, at that top level. But from Fowler to Jordan Gill to Josh Kelly. Remember when they had Daniel Lusaleniov? Do you remember when Eddie Hearn had Daniel Lusaleniov? He had the Olympic gold medalist, didn't he? He had the Olympic gold medalist who beat Josh Kelly. Do you remember that? My God, what happened to Daniel Lusaleniov? Do you remember when they had him on Sky Next Gen? Absolutely, that his career has absolutely been destroyed. Conor Benn, they nearly got Joe Wall nearly got Ben beat by a French. Conor Benn got dropped 3 times by a fucking French kickboxer. I mean, it was just a disaster. I mean, Matchroom had their attempt at building the youth in it with Sky Next Gen, and there ain't no more Next Gen, is there? There's no more Next Gen because they all to a man got wiped out. So there is a bit of perception about Eddie Hearn out there, whether you like me or hate me or want to send me death threats or not. There is a bit of perception that when it comes to dealing with young fighters, he's one to kind of rush them along. He's not one to season them, right? And I'm just wondering if Conor Benn takes a beating from Eubank, yeah. Or if Conor Benn is not competitive against Chris Eubank Jr., I wonder what that's going to do for Eddie Hearn's reputation in that respect. I'm just the point. If you think I'm talking rubbish, drop me a comment. But just something that I think is quite interesting because Frank does quite well. Frank does quite well at the minute, getting some young fighters in. Mark Tibbs has got a fighter at the minute down in the Tibbs gym called Tommy Fletcher, the Norfolk Nightmare, Tommy Fletcher. Who's apparently just knocking and standing everybody on their fucking head. Apparently he's a humongous puncher. Hey, Jason's here. Apparently he's a humongous puncher, Tommy Fletcher. And they were delighted to get him on board with Queensberry because they know Frank's a guy who's gonna bring him along the right way for the most part. Frank makes mistakes, but you know what I mean, don't you? Right? I think Sam from S-Jam. What's his name? The one who everybody hates from S-Jam. Gosh, what's his name? The fake Eddie Hearn, the one they said was the pound shop Eddie Hearn from S-Jam Boxing. I forgot his name. The one who used to tell me he used to speak to Al Heyman. He said he had Al Heyman's phone number and he was in business with Al Heyman, that he was one of the few people on planet Earth who said, Sam Jones, that's the one. Sam Jones said that there's nobody better in the business at managing young prospects than Frank Warren. So I do think there's a little bit of a stigma against Eddie about that. And I wonder if, this one's going to come back to haunt him, to be honest, because a lot of people are comparing this to Eubank and Brook. I don't think it's going to be like that because I don't think Eubank's anything like Golovkin and I don't think Conor Benn's anything like Brook. I think it should be a competitive fight, a good fight. I think it's a fight that Conor Benn can actually do, believe it or not, on points. I think it's a fight that Conor Benn can be busy enough to get it done on points, depending on what kind of state and what kind of condition Chris Eubank gets into the ring in. We'll have to wait and see for the weigh-in and things like that. But yeah, I just thought I'd give you that as an interesting subplot for Saturday. Get ready on Saturday because if Conor Benn gets wiped out, there are going to be big question marks asked about what is going on at Matchroom and who is making these matches and why, really, if Conor Benn's a welterweight contender and you're saying he's a world-class welterweight, then why isn't Conor Benn getting in the ring with world-class welterweights? Why are you sticking him in the ring with a guy who's competed at world level at super middleweight? There's going to be big questions asked if Conor Benn doesn't perform over the weekend. And I hope Eddie Hearn will be around to answer them. And when I say I hope Eddie Hearn will be around to answer them, I hope Eddie Hearn will be around, on Talk Sport, being interviewed by somebody like Simon Jordan. I hope we don't get another fluff piece with the zone employees like Laura Woods, interview him as well. But let's go for your final comments. So Jason, I said we might be doing Eubank live on Saturday, Jason. If you want to be part of the panel, we would love to have you on. So get ready for that. Richard says, Ritson getting iced by Ponce after the towel got chucked out as well. Never ends well for Eddie's prospects. That was shocking, wasn't he? Ritson. His dad threw the towel in and then they threw the towel out and then let him got smashed to pieces. Absolutely terrible. Cordina had the belt 5 minutes as he's been stripped after half his career spent on Monaco cards. Joe Laws got battered as well. Crazy D3 says, I think Hearn forgot about the Blackwell fight. See, do you know what? I will say this. Look, I think kiss of death, because my predictions are terrible. I do think it will be... I'm anticipating a competitive fight, but it is true, you know. Chris Eubank Jr. has hurt people in the ring before. Do you think that's a valid comment from Crazy D3? I think Hearn forgot about the Blackwell fight. The bottom line of it is, the facts are that Chris Eubank Jr. has ended a man's career in the ring. That's the facts of life, isn't it? Chris Eubank Jr. has ended a man's career in the ring and nearly killed a man. So, look, he might not be a big one-punch knockout guy, but with Eubank, you know what I mean? If he's on it and he starts catching you, it can be the accumulation. You know, it's not good, is it? It's not good. We'll see what happens with Conor Benn. It's going to be very, very interesting to see, innit? To see. It's going to be very, very, very interesting to see. And the last thing I'll say, which I said before about this fight before I move on, we're just talking about things to watch out for, subplots to watch out for. Because you know we like to be ahead of the curve on this channel. So the first subplot is Eddie Hearn's matchmaking will be talked about. And the second thing, if Conor Benn gets smashed to pieces, the second thing that will be talked about is his opposition in the run-up to this fight. Which I will quickly get up for you by cheating and looking at BoxRec. The casuals' favourite. They're gonna look at who he's been fighting, and they're gonna say, was Conor Benn given sufficient experience before he was stuck in a ring with a guy who was competitive at world level with George Groves at 168 pounds? They've done Conor Benn dirty with this picture, haven't they? They've done it. Well, Conor Benn here looking like a cross between his dad and D'Angelo, isn't it? Conor Benn looking like a fucking R&B singer from the 1980s. Looking like a backup dancer for Jagged Edge here in these pictures. They've done Conor Benn filthy with that photo. 26. Let's have a look at his opponents quickly. Van der Heerden, Chef Algieri, Adrian Granados, Samuel Vargas, who's now retired, Sebastian Formella, former Sean Porter victim, Steve Jamoy, Jussi Kovilla, Joseph Zradanik. And then this guy, Cedric Payano, knocked him down 3 times in a fight. I mean, I think Matchroom will get away with it. All right? I think Matchroom will get away with it. And I think it will be all right for them on the night. But I have to say, you know, you look at it and there is cause for concern there, isn't there? Like, you know, you've got Eubank on one hand who's, you know, basically ended one man's career. And then they're putting him in with a guy is he even a big welterweight, Conor Benn? He might not even be a big welterweight. And he's been in with fucking Jamoy, Formella, Vargas, Granados and Chef Algieri. And Chris Van der Heerden. And they think that's sufficient preparation to get in there with Chris Eubank Jr. It's one of them ones where if it gets bad, the fallout's going to be... Whew, watch out for that on Saturday night. If this goes bad, this is going to get real bad. Some really, really uncomfortable questions are going to get asked on Saturday night. All right, guys. Oh God, Crazy D3 saying Conor Benn looking like Castillo's baby mum. Oh my gosh, it is what it is, isn't it? It is what it is. All right, guys, join us on Saturday. I don't think I want to do it live, so we'll do the live reaction. I don't think I'm going to do live commentary or anything like that. All right, so I don't think it'll be live commentary. But if you'd like to hit the like button and subscribe. Join us, hopefully this Saturday, immediately after the fight. You know how it works. Immediately after the fight. Yeah, we'll see you on. See you on Sat. Yeah, see you on Sat, Jason. So Jason will be there. No worries. So it'll be me and Jason. If you don't hear from me, obviously I'm probably dead or pushing up daisies or something. But should be myself, Jason, and hopefully we can get Chevron on as well. And Expert Genius, I think, says he's going to come on, and maybe we can get Sonny Singh on. And whatnot. So yeah, if you'd like to join us for the panel, hopefully, fingers crossed, if it happens, we'll probably have about the usual 200 people. You think 200-300, depending. What do we normally do? I think on them kind of shows we're normally doing 200-300 people. On some of them we've done 500-600, but realistically, I think on that show on that night we might do 200-300, maybe a bit more. So join in. There'll be plenty of people in the chat. Please hit the like. Please hit subscribe. Fingers crossed, if I'm still breathing, we will all see you on Saturday for immediate, instant, raw reaction to Conor Benn versus Chris Eubank. Take care of yourselves and each other.